Let's start with a game called Angry Birds Space Assault. This game was supposed to be a collectible 3D strategy action game that the developers of Club America would develop. As you can see on the screen, the gameplay is quite interesting. That is, in fact it is Angry Birds Space, but at the same time in 3D, and we can rotate your slingshot not only up and down, but also right and left, so we can move this slingshot in general cool. But alas, this game did not come out. For some reason we can only guess, but in principle it's not difficult to guess. The fact is that the concept video this game was released in 2019. At that time Rockvio was not doing very well, and they were still showing off with these games in 3 in a row. And of course Delon at that moment was a little bit de-dollarization of the creation of expensive 3D games. In general, this is what we have not released game, and we move on. Angry Birds Flash is a game that was shown at Adobe Max 2011 by Andrew Stablo of Rovio Entertainment Corporation. This event was held in 2011, and this year the game was planned to be released. This game had the most ordinary and classic Angry Birds gameplay with a slingshot, but the essence of the game, in principle, was not to do something new and unique, but simply to expand Angry Birds to new devices and platforms. However, this game did not come out as it was replaced by the Angry Birds Facebook game, and Angry Birds Facebook, in turn, was replaced by the Angry Birds Friends game, which still minds the function and is supported by Rovio. Angry Birds Space VR is a game that was supposed to be a re-release of the game Angry Birds Space, but in the form of virtual reality. This game was developed by Rovio Entertainment and Brazilian company IMGNATION. As such, the gameplay of the game was not shown to us, only a couple of screenshots. Angry Birds Space VR was originally only intended for the NASA New Horizons event, though it was also shown at the Brazil Game Show and Campus Party. However, Rovio said that they did not have plans for a full release of the game. Angry Birds Islands. This is a game that was released for the beta on March 2, 2017 for Android users. The gameplay of this game was that we had to rebuild our settlement on the island, that is, build different houses, improve them, and so on. By the way, an interesting fact, according to the plot of this game, pigs and birds build their city together, that is, they do not quarrel here. However, on June 26th of the same year, on the official Facebook page of this game, it was announced that the game would be closed, and the next day the game was already taken from stores, applications and servers are down. Angry Birds Football. This game was developed by New Star Games and published by Rovio. It was made to promote the Euro 2016 Football Championship. In principle it was released in 2016, by the way. This game was originally called Angry Birds Goal, and only then it changed its name to Angry Birds Football. This game is the most common football simulator for which we play as a team of birds and we have to defeat the pig team. This game, as I said, was made just to promote the Euro 2016 Championship. That is, as a major project, it was not originally was planned, and therefore, soon, or to be more precise, on December 15, 2016, the game was removed from the application stores. Angry Birds Tennis. This is a game that Rovio released in February 2020. This game had a vertical orientation and style from the Angry Birds movie. The gameplay of this game was that we had to move our character correctly in order to repel the opponent's attack and beat him in the tennis game. In this game, we had access to such characters as Red, Chuck, Bomb, Server, Roz, the Mustachioed Baron, Garrick, Roots and Leonard, and among the locations we had Pig Island, Bird Island and the Cabal Plateau. Well, the 11th of September 2020 this game was closed.
Angry Birds. I think many of you have heard about this game, because the trailer for this game has already gained more than 8 million on the official Angry Birds channel. The fact is that the trailer for this game was released on April 1, 2015, but the 1st April, as we know, this is our day of jokes. And due to the fact that the trailer for this game was released on April 1st, many thought that this was just a very big joke from Rovio, but a little later, a former Rovio employee confirmed that this game was indeed developed by Rovio. This game also had a lot of concept art, but in the end the game did not come out. A clear reason that the game did not come out Rovio, alas, they did not tell us, however. The early game became a design concept from Angry Birds Evolution. Angry Birds Holiday. This game was released in beta test on May 25, 2016. This game was developed by Sproing and published by Rovio Entertainment. The gameplay of this game was that we had to constantly farm resources, upgrade farm buildings, and in general the game with itself was a typical business simulator. However, like all games from this video, it was closed, but it was closed on December 31, 2016.
In the same 2016, the game Angry Birds Ace Fighter was released for this. To be more precise, it had 2 beta tests from May 31 to July 20. This game was tested in China. And from July 21 to October this game was tested all over the world. The gameplay of this game was that we controlled the plane by dragging it around the screen. The goal of this game was to defeat the enemy pigs in order to score more points. In addition to this, we could strengthen our plane by collecting upgrades during fight time. Well, I think you know a lot of similar games. Yes, this game was in the plans. Well, as I said in 2016, on July 20th, the open beta test in China was terminated on July 20th and October 8th worldwide. Despite the fact that a lot of global release efforts have been put into this game, this game is so did not receive.
Angry Birds Heroes. Это не высшая игра по Angry Birds, у которой мы даже геймплея толком-то не знаем. Дело в том, что 4 декабря 2017 года Ровио на своей официальной странице в Facebook опубликовали трейлер этой игры. А вместе с трейлером был коротенький опрос по этой игре. Игра находилась в разработке, однако спустя 2 месяца Ровио заявили о том, что игра все-таки не выйдет. Несмотря на то, что игра находилась в процессе разработки, она не получила не то что релиза, но даже бета-теста у этой игры не было. Ну да ладно, идем дальше.
The next unreleased game is Angry Birds Legends. It was released in beta testing in March 2020. This INRA was released at the same time as the Chronicle game of Legends, which was similar to Angry Birds Legends. The gameplay was almost the same and they made 2 almost identical games at the same time. To see how the characters from Angry Birds will contribute to the success of this game. This game is a turn-based strategy RPG where we have to upgrade our characters and attack the enemies. Well, I didn't really like this game phrase, and because of this, in December 2020, they announced the cancellation of the release of this game, and in February 2021, the servers in this game were closed. Angry Birds Island. This is a game that was originally planned as the second part of Angry Birds Blast, and it was called Angry Birds Blast 2. Well, then it changed its name to Angry Birds Blast Island and then changed its name to Angry Birds Island, and it stopped at that name. Gameplay is here essentially the same as Blast, that is, we need to click on these square things so that they disappear and we get points because of this. However, unlike Angry Birds Blast Angry Birds, we also have an island on which we can build a building as well as a full-fledged plot with dialogues and other things. This game received average reviews, however, almost no one regarded it as full-fledged projects. You can still play it if you had it downloaded before closing or if you download it via APK file. Well, the last game that we will talk about today is Angry Birds Dice. This game was released in beta testing on February 2, 2017. Well, it was developed by the Korean company JoyCity. This game is a classic board game with dice and moves. However, it is worth noting that each character in this game has its own abilities. But due to the restructuring of the company, the game was closed. They announced the closure of this game on September 10, 2017 on the official Facebook page for this game, and a month later, on October 10th of the same year, the game was deleted from the store in the application and the servers were closed. Well, let's sum it up. Rovio really had a lot of unreleased Angry Birds games. The thing is that Rovio is a company that is constantly experimenting with something, that is, they create games, look at the reaction of fans to these games, look at attendance on online in these games, and if all the indicators are good, then the game is released, and if they are good, then they are released. Well, on this our video comes to an end. Thank you all for watching and bye everyone.